I don't know if I can believe this. Somebody called ElliotX has beaten Minecraft without moving. Not clickbait, trust me, that's what the thumbnail says. We have to believe it. I don't know how you can beat Minecraft without moving at all. But hey, we're about to find out, so let's watch the video and see how they did it. And on a side note, there's still a few Team Apocalypse signed postcards left. They are limited edition. They're available on sp737.store, so don't miss your chance. And now let's
This is a
let's
real
see how they did
Minecraft
it.
world, and I spawned inside the end portal. How did I end up here? I don't know, but I can show you how this was made possible. In today's video,
No way
I want
that
to
you
go
can
over
actually
the
spawn
process
there.
of finding a valid seed, inventing
How
new
is it obsidian?
strategies, and eventually beating the game without moving.
Maybe
Before we get
it's
into
spawned
the
with
seed
water?
finding, I want to explain the basic rules for this challenge. The first rule is, movement of any kind is just not allowed. This includes walking, getting pushed by mobs, and also every form of vertical movement, like jumping or falling, for example.
Okay, that's pretty
Second
self-explanatory.
rule, the run has to be performed on a real seed within a single world. So up or downgrading it in any way is not allowed.
Okay.
The
So you have to
third
stay in
and
the same
final
version.
rule is that every feature within the game is allowed to be used in the run. The only exception to this is the bonus chest, because nobody likes it and it feels
Okay, so I
like
wonder what he
cheating.
means by every feature is allowed.
Apart from that, it's allowed to use every glitch and even manipulate RNG.
But
to
surely
use
he
its full
can't get
potential.
into a minecart,
Without further
like
ado,
like
every
there.
glitch and
He gets
even
into a
manipulate
minecart.
RNG
Surely
to use its
that's
full potential.
cheating.
Without
Because it's
further
moving
ado,
into a
let's go to
minecart.
the first step.
Because I could beat Minecraft without moving by getting in a boat and then breaking the boat and then getting into another boat. And you know, like you could do that. So I guess you can't get in minecarts either. I wonder,
Finding.
no way he does this.
When you want to beat the game without moving at all, you have to spawn inside the end portal on one of those 18
Yeah, I don't get how you
blocks.
can spawn there.
So there are a few problems to solve. In the past, people found seeds which let you spawn inside the stronghold or on top of the portal room. I had to find a way to open the portal room, because when you enter a world, you will always spawn on the highest solid block.
You see, this is interesting. No, I guess there's a few nuances with spawning. If there's water above the block, you spawn like lower. But if you're in an ocean, you don't. Yeah. I'm not going to go into it. You know what?
Room
Let's just let him
always
explain.
generates
I don't think
with
it's going to apply
ceiling,
to
and
this,
there's
though.
nothing you can do about
But you
it.
can manipulate where you
Unless
spawn a little bit.
find a structure or world feature which overrides the ceiling somehow. You might have seen similar things in
Yeah,
your
we'll
Minecraft
need an open portal
world.
room.
The most common overlap of two structures happens when a temple and a village generate in the same place. Did you notice one thing? The temple is always intact and the village gets destroyed. Why isn't
Okay.
it the other way around?
So the temple
I
must
quickly
generate
found
seconds,
the answer
maybe?
after looking into the game's code. There's a specific order in which structures generate in a chunk. The first structure which tries to generate is a mineshaft, but it's not really interesting because I assume that most of you have seen a seed where a mineshaft generated within a stronghold. After
yeah.
that, a village will try to generate, which is followed by the most important structure, the stronghold. Because of the order in which these structures generate, it's
so something
possible
will-
for a
will
stronghold
generate
to
after a
override the
stronghold.
village, but not the other way around.
Yeah.
You may have never seen this happen before, but I searched for a seed in which you see that the portal room
Okay.
is still intact,
So the stronghold
but parts of the
overrides the
village
village
are
in this
destroyed.
situation. I still
If
don't
I
get how
want
he's
to
going
open
to do
the
this
portal
without
room,
moving.
I have to search for a different structure. What comes next in the generation process is the desert or jungle temple and the swarm hut. Code-wise, they are actually the same and only differ depending on the biome they spawn in.
Okay, I
I
didn't
even
know
had
that.
some hope to find an open up portal room
Because
with
swamp
one
huts
of those
seem way
structures,
more rare,
because
but maybe it's just
especially
swamps
the
are rare.
desert temple generates with a lot of air. I searched for
Ooh.
some interesting seeds, but
Yeah,
as you can see,
that's close.
even with the highest portal rooms imaginable, the desert temple still destroys the portal
Oh,
frames.
okay.
Even
yeah.
though I knew the jungle temple and the swarm hut can't open the portal room, I still managed to find some seeds which show
Yeah, so
some
that's not
interesting
gonna-
interactions.
that's not
These
gonna work
seeds
either.
are not really useful, but they are still worth showing in a video like this.
It's cool to see,
Minecraft
yeah.
1.8 doesn't have that many structures,
What
but
about
the
a
next and
monument, maybe?
arguably final useful structure may be able to open the portal room. There are some other structures like spawners, lakes, pools and the bonus chest, but they just can't open the portal room and they are just not really worth talking about. Anyway, the last
This is a
structure
very
is the
well-made video,
ocean
by the way.
monument, which can override the stronghold.
The ocean. Yeah, I see, I was
made a
right.
video about a seed found by Minecraft at home where all end portals got destroyed by
Yeah, I've
ocean
heard of this seed.
monuments, which made it impossible to beat the game.
Unless you
Interesting,
regenerate
but
the
not
chunk.
what I was
Actually, no, maybe
looking
you
for.
wouldn't be able to do. Would
Instead,
regenerate
I
the chunk do
only
it? I don't
want
think
to
it would.
override the upper part of the portal room. After some testing, I found out that with the right conditions, it's possible to open the portal room if it generates within this rectangle.
Oh, no way.
So I started coding,
you need a
and a day
seed
later
where
I had
that
my first
overlaps.
open portal room. That was cool and definitely an achievement, but there were so many more challenges to come.
Because I guess you have to spawn there, right?
First of all, I had to find a way to replace the lava inside the portal with other blocks, because if I spawned in the lava, I could just not reach the portal without moving. Opening the portal room is already difficult enough, and using a second structure seemed unviable or even impossible. Luckily, in some rare cases you can already find end portals with obsidian inside. But how is this possible?
Is this water?
When the portal room generates, it doesn't generate in one piece, and instead it uses something like chunks. If the portal generates at a chunk border and the water happens to be right next to the lava, it will turn into obsidian. And after that, the rest of the portal room generates.
Interesting. So you can get
Those so-called
that's how he gets the
population
obsidian.
chunks have their borders at the chunk coordinate 8 in X and Z direction.
How has he found this seed?
Monuments
There's no way he's found a seed
always
to me
spawn
on this.
inside the ocean, and therefore it's pretty likely that there's some obsidian inside the end portal. Sometimes the ocean is not deep enough and therefore no lava will be turned into obsidian, but with the right tools it's possible to search for this. The
There's so many
next and definitely much harder step was to find a spawn point inside the portal room.
This is
After
it.
half an
Not only have you
hour
got
of
to find
searching,
a
I
monument
found a
that
seed
fits the
which
thing
lets you
with a
see
stronghold.
open portal
You've
room
got to
from your
find
spawn point. This is definitely cool, but
spawn
getting
point that's
close to
near
the
it.
portal
There's
room
no
is
way.
something completely different to getting into the portal room. Now it gets rather complicated, but I will try my very best to explain the spawn point algorithm. When you generate a new Minecraft world, the game searches for a valid spawn biome within 256 blocks of the world's center. Here you can see all of those biomes. What do they have in common?
Wait,
Grass
can you not-
blocks.
Can you not spawn in any?
The game
Really?
picks a random starting position in a valid biome
So you have
and
to get a
checks
grass
whether
block to
this
spawn?
position is a grass
No
block.
way.
As you might have guessed, most of the time the game instantly finds one, and that's the reason why most, but not all of your spawn points are within 256 blocks of 0, 0. In some rare cases, maybe a cave, trees or a gravel patch might have destroyed the grass. In this case, the game does the following algorithm. Pick two random numbers between 0 and 63, add and subtract them from your x coordinate,
I didn't think I was
and
gonna
do
get
the
a
same
math lesson
thing
here,
for
but
your
this
z
is interesting.
coordinate. Then the new coordinate is checked for a possible grass block.
So you basically
Can't
need
find
no
one,
grass
it
at spawn.
repeats this algorithm. Eventually you might end up with a search pattern which looks like this. What does that mean for our search? First of all, strongholds spawn rather far away from 0, 0,
So you need it-
which
yeah.
makes it even more unlikely that one of those dots is close to the portal room. In addition to that, finding a grass block within 11 blocks of a monument is quite rare, probably even impossible. So is there a chance where a spawn point could theoretically be inside the portal room? Yes, because the searching algorithm is not infinite and after 1000 tries it just stops. I think you know where this is going. What if I filtered for a seed which can't find a grass block in those 1000 tries, and with a lot of luck this last searching attempt happens to be
No
directly at
way.
the portal room?
No way this is
That's
possible.
exactly what I need. Even though it's insanely rare that first
I
of all
get that
the
there's trillions
exactly
and trillions
1000
and,
spawning attempt
like,
is at
I don't
the
know how
end
many seeds there
portal,
are, but there is
and
a lot
in
of
addition
seeds,
to
but-
that, all the previous 999 attempts must have failed as well.
There's no way that he
After
finds
coding
this.
a basic script, I let my computer run for a few hours and I already got the first results.
Really?
So I checked the seeds and here you have it. A seed
No
which lets you
way.
spawn inside the end
No
portal.
way.
I still have to smile while reading the script because it felt so unreal when I found it.
No
I
way
can't
it's
even
possible.
put into words how incredibly this seed is.
It's so cool.
But
There's a
only
script
few
that can
hours
find
later,
it.
the euphoria was gone. I realized I have to beat a seed like this. I have a lot of knowledge about the game, but beating this seed was just not going to happen. So I decided to search for other seeds. The game implemented two ways how you can obtain an Eye of Ender in 1.8.
How are you gonna?
Apart from
Oh,
the basic
no.
crafting recipe, you can
he
also
gonna trade for
trade
them?
an Eye of Ender from a villager. Obviously I can't have a village inside the stronghold in this case, but luckily zombie villagers exist. As many of you might know, you can transform a zombie villager back into a normal villager
Why didn't he just search
if
for
the
12 eye?
zombie has the weakness
work?
effect
Maybe that won't
and you
work.
give him a golden apple.
Maybe that's too.
Brewing a weakness potion is
rare.
obviously not a smart option, but witches can also throw them. So this part of the equation is already solved, but how can I theoretically obtain a golden apple? Either I find it in a chest like a dungeon or stronghold, or I craft it. Golden apples can be found in mineshafts in newer versions, but unfortunately not in 1.8.
I may have to try this seed.
Sadly, both of those chest scenarios seemed a bit too unlikely to seed fun for. The major problem is that the portal room has to generate in water for the lava to turn into obsidian, but all the other parts of the strongholds have to be inside the ground. So you need a pretty much perfect ocean floor for this to work. I mentioned that you can technically craft a golden apple. For this you need some wood, an apple and gold. As long as we have wood, gold won't be an issue, because with some iron from zombies you can build a nether portal, which also allows a pigman to spawn.
Ah, yeah, good point.
Finding both an apple and wood accessible in one seed is also rather difficult, because the blocks I can reach to destroy or interact with are super limited. A promising idea was the use of a storage room. They have wood and a chest with a 50% chance to contain an apple. Like the other stronghold chest idea, this was too rare to filter for. Eventually, I came up with the idea of using a forgotten feature, the bonus chest. It's likely that they contain wood, an apple, and it seemed like a viable option. But viable doesn't mean that I wanted to use it. Eventually, I even managed to find one of those seeds. All in all, the villager method seemed like a viable option, but finding a seed where this is possible would have taken way too long.
You said no bonus chest. Whoa.
If villager trading is not an option, what's the alternative? Crafting an Eye of Ender? You only need wood, kill zombies for iron, and at this point you are pretty much ready to enter the nether. You could obtain wood from a nearby mineshaft. For that I had to write a whole mineshaft simulation. This means you can just input the seed and the starting coordinates of a mineshaft and you get the coordinates of every room and corridor. By the way, you can download the code for this entire project on my GitHub account. The link
you know what, if I had more brain cells I would do that, I would download it and try it.
This method of acquiring an Eye of Ender doesn't seem too difficult until you realize
I just want to know how he's done it.
The part of the end portal is only 3 blocks and the nether portal is 4 blocks wide.
I feel like the further he goes into this,
it's ridiculous to fit a 4-block nether portal
the harder
into a 3-block
is.
gap, but let's say I found a way to make it work.
It seems to be more problems
with
every turn.
Too difficult, and that's why it was time to search for a valid seed. Let's say I totally underestimated the amount of computing power required to find a playable seed. The seed finding script took some hours to find a valid seed. Okay, maybe days. Oh no, actually weeks. Oh no, wait, actually months. I can't really put into words how long that took.
It must be searched like billions and billions of seeds.
We searched through around 100 quadrillion seeds, and just one of them fit the criteria.
Just one.
Don't get me wrong, I found dozens of seeds which let you spawn inside the end portal, but only a single one was beatable for me. In the following chapter, I will show you how.
No way. He found one? This is a project. They've put some time into this.
Okay.
Let me give this video a like, by the way.
How am I supposed to do this?
Oh, don't hit your mic.
No wood, guardians shooting at me, and the quest to beat the entire game. I think it can't get any worse than this.
Mining fatigue. Wait, is this the seed?
Okay, fair. Let's inspect the seed. There's not much to work with. A portal room floating in the ocean, but at least there is a mineshaft a few blocks below the end portal.
Yeah, but how
acquiring
could you get
this prestigious wood seems like a big deal, because I don't even have a way to get a creeper into the portal room, for example, which might be useful to dig our way through the floor.
Oh, it's literally just,
to get rid of
no
the mining fatigue, I toggled
just
the difficulty to peaceful to despawn the Elder Guardians. To begin the run, I waited for a guardian to fall into lava. For this I had to relog multiple times to have a form of invincibility.
Okay. How is that going to help? Food?
After obtaining a prismarine shard, I could dupe it, and now I already have an infinite amount of solid blocks, which is better than nothing.
Okay, you did say any glitches are allowed, so fair enough.
And gravel could be useful to interact with things which are further away. Animan can pick up gravel, teleport into the portal room and place the gravel in a convenient spot. By killing the enderman, I also obtained an ender pearl which is needed later in the run. While editing the video, I realized that you could get the gravel without the help of an enderman. So this method obviously reduces the amount of luck required for this drastically. Anyway, back to the video. Digging through the water seems impossible, and I can't just fill it up with gravel because there's no way to destroy it all. I mean, okay, technically I could have 100 endermen teleport into this hole and pick up the gravel and leave again, but the RNG required for this is too ridiculous and it seemed a bit too boring. So I came up with something new. If I can't destroy the water, can't I just transform the water into stone? It may seem a bit counterintuitive, but stone is incredibly easy to mine if you use the right technique. Silverfish mining. I have an infinite amount of silverfish because of the spawner, and I can easily turn the water
I feel like I know
into stone
Minecraft
with the
well,
lava
but I
below
don't
my
know
feet.
how he's doing this.
It took rather long, but eventually I managed to get a hole to the mineshaft. The mineshaft even generated with some floating gravel, so there was no enderman involved in this.
But how does he get the...
After some waiting, a creeper
wood?
walked onto the gravel and I was able to make a little staircase for him. To make sure that he can destroy some wood when he explodes, I had to remove 2 extra blocks. One of them was picked up by an enderman and the other one was destroyed by a silverfish. My plan was to get the creeper close to me, and right before he explodes, I punch him down so that he destroys the wood. The issue was that even if I shielded myself,
there's no way he
from
does
the
this first
explosion,
time.
I'll still get knocked back. The same thing applies if I had invincibility. Eventually, I figured out that if I leave the game in the perfect tick, I won't get knocked back. Now, I had some wood laying around in the mineshaft, but I got a zombie to pick it up. I built a little staircase for the zombie, and a few minutes later I was able to kill the zombie, which conveniently dropped some iron.
What do you mean conveniently? Did you affect the rates or something? There must be... I mean, maybe this is a hypothetical situation, because it's not going to drop... What do you mean conveniently? You mean ridiculously luckily did?
So I was finally able to craft some basic tools, which was definitely a big milestone.
That's big though, that you can
Another
dupe them.
small but impactful thing was obtaining redstone from a witch. The witch just walked up the stairs and there was not much to talk about except the usage of the redstone.
Oh, pistons.
I finally managed to craft some pistons, and those were pretty useful to drain some parts of the portal room, which was required for the next few steps. At this point, you might still be wondering,
I like how he's put a door so it doesn't get moved by
going
water.
to enter the nether? The method which I want to use is the following. Destroy one of those portal frames, and if you fill in the last eye of ender into the frame next to it, the portal still lights up.
Interesting.
The thing about
Wow.
developing new strategies is that once you solve a problem, you get 2 more. So, how can I destroy this frame? After some research about bedrock breaking, I came up with the conclusion that only a so-called headless piston method could be viable for this. I didn't find a viable setup on YouTube, but I found one which heavily inspired my alternative design. I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically, with an explosion next to an extended piston and a second piston, which you place at the spot where the first piston gets blown up, you can destroy the block below the piston. Getting the piston into the correct spot facing upwards was kind of difficult, but with the help of some other pistons, I managed to do it.
This is very complicated, isn't it?
Instead of TNT, I can also use a
I'm glad
creeper, but
that
explosions
he did this
in
so we don't
general
have to.
are a major problem in this challenge. As you already know, even if the explosion happens behind a wall, you still get knocked back. Can't I just use this strat from the beginning where I leave the
No,
game
you can't
in
place the
perfect
piston
tick?
then, can you?
Sadly, no, because you can't leave the game and place a piston in the same tick. At this point, I was a bit frustrated. Was this little
Mum's finding the
mechanic
seed.
seriously going to ruin the entire run? I tried out so many different things, and eventually, after days of searching, I found out that you don't get any knockback if you place a boat directly on your head. No, I didn't make that up.
Really?
In the run, I used the fence and iron bars to perfectly align the boat with some water.
This is impressive indeed. There is some research in this. I'm learning some mechanics in Minecraft. With a boat on your head, you don't take knockback. No way you have to get it. I'd be stressed right now. Oh my goodness, he's done it. There's no way. which is insane.
After successfully removing the end portal frame, I
It's easy.
duped some lava to build the nether portal.
No, but how's he? What if he's not in a fortress?
The nether part itself is not very spectacular in comparison to the rest of the run. There was a part of the fortress relatively close by, blazes spawned on top of it, and eventually
Did he
one
know
of
there was
them
going to be a
fell down.
fortress nearby?
It wandered around a bit, and then I realized that a fishing rod could be pretty useful for this. So I went back to the overworld, killed a cave spider and crafted a fishing rod. After that I didn't have any issues with obtaining the blaze rod.
I guess he only needs
Now
one
I'm
blaze
getting
rod.
closer and closer to the end of the run.
'Cause you can juke it.
After crafting the Eye of Ender, the only thing that
The thing
was
is,
left
it
to
messes
do
up the
was
run if he
killing
takes
the
any
Ender
damage.
Dragon.
Because
I'm about to show you
gonna
an
knock back
alternative
the
end fight which I didn't do during the run. In 1.8, every time you enter the end island itself is the same, but the crystals vary in their height, width and quantity. It's even possible to get an end island with no crystals. So the dragon can't heal and charges you frequently. Therefore, you can hit the dragon over and over again in peaceful mode, and eventually the dragon is beaten.
Like no end crystals.
Now comes the reason why we can't do this in the no movement challenge. No matter what you do, the end fountain will always generate where you killed the dragon at Y level 64. This is just impossible to reach because you will always spawn on Y level 49.
I bet he thought he got it with this,
you
and then
can
it's
use
like
an
it's
ender
always
pearl
above
to
you.
get to the fountain, but this feels very unsatisfying. So what can I do instead?
Yeah, technically you move
What
with an
if I
ender pearl.
never killed the dragon and skipped the end fight completely?
The credits
With
warp
the
by
new
Myron.
discoveries, mainly from Myron Irio, this is actually possible.
Myron did
This
this.
strategy is called credits warp and is used
It
in
came up with
various
it the
glitch
same way,
speedruns.
you know, the
The
ghost
main
damage and
problem
stuff
is
that I
that
went
these
to.
are performed in
This is
version
like the same
1.12.
glitch.
In 1.8, the mechanics are a lot different, but the main strategy looks similar. You enter the end 2 times. During the first enter, you have to place redstone and a power source in a specific pattern. After that, you kill yourself to respawn in the overworld.
I don't know if the credit was exactly the same.
Entering
but
the
I
end
think it
the
came
second
from like
time
those
is a
mechanics.
lot more complicated because first of all, you have to restart your game and use the following Java arguments. When you re-enter the end, you need a pearl which hits the ground just a tick after entering. If you did everything correctly, you might get the credits warp. Myron has a very detailed explanation video on his channel, so in case you want to know more about it, you should check it out. Back to the run. Is the credits warp even possible in the no movement challenge?
Yeah,
the
'cause he has to
problem
die and
is
stuff.
that you have to kill yourself after you entered the end for the first time. When you respawn in the overworld, you could just spawn at your initial starting point, right? Well, no, because the end portal is already lit. I would need to find a way to destroy or unlit the portal. Eventually, I
What?
rediscovered a strat on my own which is used in the so-called time travel speedrun category. Time traveling in Minecraft means that you can undo certain things from the past, for example lighting up the end portal. I figured out that you can do the following. Enter the end portal normally, pause for a second and then press Alt and F4. This causes the game to crash and not all the progress to get saved. When you restart the game and join into the world, you will be in the end, but the
And the
overworld
portal's not
still
lit.
looks
No
unchanged.
way. That's
This
insane.
means that the end portal is not lit up and you're in the end. Now you can place down the redstone, kill yourself and respawn
What
in
an
the overworld.
actual genius.
Now it's actually possible
This is
to
Minecraft's
spawn at
smartest
the
player
initial
right here,
starting
my goodness.
coordinates, and I managed to perfectly set up the end warp for later. All that's left to do after changing the Java arguments are the following steps. Throw a pearl, light up the portal at the perfect time, and that's it, we're done. Or are we?
Oh wait.
Did you see that? For a frame the coordinates are shown on screen. I changed my coordinates because the pearl lands in a slightly different spot than you stand on. Is there anything I can do about it? Yes, I have to manipulate the RNG so that the pearl precisely
I
lands
like
in
this
the
is
correct
attention
spot.
to detail.
I managed to
'Cause
find
he
a
moved.
setup which involves an extra water above the player. This water is required for this whole trick to work. It's actually possible to land in the exact same spot you
Nice.
started on.
Is it? Not
And
every
now,
time.
you're about to witness Minecraft history.
The
The
first
moment
person to
you've been
beat
waiting
Minecraft
for.
without
In a
moving.
split of a second, the game is beaten, without me ever moving at all.
I have to clap that. That is absolutely insane. You know what? I'm subscribing. That deserves a subscribe right there. Subscribe to this channel as well, guys. I react to loads of videos, but that is unbelievable. Minecraft history, beating Minecraft without moving. Incredible.